Yeah. You can't hear me in Zencaster. Okay. Okay. How about now? Do you still hear the background noise? Test, test, test. Are we getting background noise? I can hear myself in the background. Okay. Yeah. I've just muted the mic in here, so I've got audio input capture, not mic and aux, because maybe that's causing an issue. Shall I have a listen? I'll listen on the Twitter bit. Hold on, hold on. Okay. Can you hear me now? This is horrible. One's enough. Okay. Yeah. Sounds alright. I've just muted the mic in here, so that sounds alright, I think. Audio input capture. Okay. Well, we are actually live in that case, and welcome everyone to Freedom Tech Friday episode 2. We're going to be talking about AI today, whether it is a tool for good or a tool for bad. Is it a freedom tech? Can it be? And we're also going to cover a load of the questions that we didn't manage to cover on the last episode, as well as people's top 3 favorite tools for freedom tech, privacy and freedom. And the winner this episode is going to get a free samurai hat, hoodie and t-shirt. And a big thank you to Foundation for giving away a Passport Prime last week. That went to Superfat Arrow, so congratulations to you, mate. And yeah, very excited for this show. I can't believe how well the last one went. I'm a little bit nervous because I'm at the helm here with all the tech stuff, which is fucking dangerous if we're all honest with ourselves. But yeah, Q had a hen do and couldn't make it. A hen do, it's where a bride to be goes out with all her mates, like a stag do, but for women, like Q. We made it. I think. I think you call it a bachelorette party. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so. So yeah, while he's he's swanning off somewhere for his hen do with a sash and all that kind of stuff. Left me with all the tech stuff. Luckily, Jordan jumped in and went through with me for about 4 hours, testing and setting everything up. So let me know if you can hear or not. We've got vibrant subtlety. Seth may be muted. Can't hear him. I only hear Max, by the way. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Let me hear. If I open up the fucking hell, this is. left me with all the tech stuff. Yeah, I just hear myself. Horrible. Luckily, Jordan jumped in and went through with me for about 4 hours, testing and setting everything up. So let's see. Let me know if you can hear or not. I've got vibrant subtlety. Seth may be muted. Can't hear him. I only hear Max, by the way. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, I don't hear you either. Oh, okay. God. Right. Right, sorry everyone, because you all came for Seth. Why is this then? We've got audio input. You're not muted on Zencaster, so you're coming through. I hear you. As far as I understood it, that was all we needed. No. Well, I don't think so. You're not muted there. Back to OBS. I can try turning this mic/aux back on. See if that works. Should I just try it? But that's what was giving us the reverberation and like repeating. No, I have. Let me try. Okay, so we're back on now. I've got that mic aux back on. So there's going to be a delay. I'll now go on to Twitter and see if it comes through. Please hear Seth's lovely voice. Let me hear if I open up the... Fucking hell, this is... Left me with all the tech stuff. Yeah, I just hear myself. Horrible. Luckily, Jordan jumped in and went through with me for about 4 hours, testing and setting everything up. So, let's see. Let me know if you can hear or not. I've got vibrant subtlety. Seth may be muted. Can't hear him. I only hear Max, by the way. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, I don't hear you either. Maybe after I unmute it though. Right, sorry everyone, because you all came for Seth. Why is this then? We've got audio input. You're not muted on... Yeah. Jordan says... Audio output capture. Okay. Shall I just take my headphones off or something like that? Fuck's sake. Sorry everyone. I don't know how to do an audio output capture. There's not an option here. There's input, active sources. There doesn't seem to be any option. I don't know if that's because it's already running. I've got Unguarded Almost video, mic aux, audio input capture. See what Jordan's saying. Yeah, this is in OBS. Let me just write to Jordan. Shall I take headphones off, change to laptop? Yeah, I'm looking around in the audio capture bit, but there's no option to... Fuck around with the input capture. Okay. In OBS Studio Source, click the plus, source doc. Yeah, see, I don't have that anymore. Oh, actually, hold on, I can do it here. Plus game capture, window capture. Audio, I've got audio input capture, but not game capture or the. No, don't have that. Audio output capture is right down at deprecated. Audio output capture. I don't. What is shown here? I don't see. Fucking hell. Audio output capture. Yeah, I can add it. Create new one. Okay. Device, and then it gives me a drop down menu but no options. Just it says enable down mixing but no devices. So I can click OK, but I don't think that's going to do anything. Fuck. Sorry everyone. This is... we did do testing as well. I'm going to just try doing it without headphones. That's the only thing I can think, because I just don't know what else to do at this point. To see if that's just changed now. Can you hear me still, Seth?
Yep. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can also hear myself echoing through your mic, but...
Fuck's sake. This is really fucking annoying.
Yeah, I mean... I'm not really sure.
Can you hear me still, Seth? Yeah, you're now on the stream, mate.
I can also hear myself.
You're now on the stream on Twitter. I believe.
Let's get the 4 or 5 more minutes, and if we can get it sorted, let's just call it. Maybe do a makeup line on Tuesday or something.
Well, no, I think you're on now.
Oh, Jordan said I can hear him now.
Yeah. So taking the headphones off worked somehow.
I can't hear you right now, Max, but Jordan said he can hear me now.
You
Less
can't.
than a minute ago.
You can't hear me. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, do you know what? I think we've actually fixed it just by taking the headphones off.
What? Okay, well, I don't hear myself echoing either, so...
Okay, alright. Well, look, I'm sorry to everyone who has just gone through that 15 minutes of pain. It was sort of expected. I thought this is going a bit too smoothly, and I was all proud of myself, and maybe that's what brought on the pain, so apologies. You've heard me waffle. I've done the intro. We know what we're talking about. You all want to hear Seth's beautiful voice. Seth, what are we covering today, mate?
Ooh, we got a good on-point topic, AI. We've got a ton of good questions for everybody. Man, they're piling in. Definitely keep them coming throughout this live show, throughout the week in between shows. We're going to keep just kind of a running list and pull out the best questions. So thankful to all the people who have submitted questions so far, and some really good ones we got to cover last week. I know we're going to be a little shorter on time this week, so we definitely will not get to all of them, but we'll get to all the ones that we can. But I think first, probably let's jump into the seminal topic of today. What did you want to chat about with AI, Max?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about AI. You know, when we're talking about freedom tech and leaning on all these different tools to make our lives better and safer for our families and take back control, there's always that like trade-off between the privacy and the ease of use, and or the security and the ease of use. And what I've found personally is I'm leaning on AI more and more, just because there's so much to get done with Ungovernable Misfits, creating artwork, like doing the voices that we do, the AI stuff, doing show notes, doing research, doing whatever it is. Like more and more, all of us are starting to use it. And I was saying to Q the other day, actually, I was like, oh yeah, we shouldn't probably be using this stuff. I was like, I know, but if you don't at this stage, it's hard to keep up. You kind of start to get left behind. And my assumption is there's going to be ways to use this without giving all of your details. I know there are some services that do it already. There's going to be ways to run this stuff locally, and that kind of thing. So I wanted to talk about it because it seems like more and more people are using it, and it kind of seems like antithetical to the whole privacy movement that we talk about all the time.
Yeah, AI is one of those weird things where it's like, it's kind of antithetical to privacy in two different ways. Like, first, on the training side, basically how AI models work is they hoover up all the data they possibly can and then use that to build these AI models on top of. So there's been a ton of stuff where they're collecting data they're not legally allowed to. They're collecting data that's supposed to be private. There's been lots of issues already so far on like the data collection side for what you need to build good AI models. Mm-hmm. And that I think is the more concerning part of AI from like a sovereignty perspective is outside. Like, this is the first new incentive for data collection outside of the broken ad system, mm-hmm. that had become previously like the main driver for collecting personal data. Is like people wanted to know more about you so that they could target ads at you and then sell that ad space for more money, which is bad and has caused a lot of problems in the internet over the last 15-20 years. The AI is the first thing that actually brings a new incentive where instead of just to sell you ads, companies creating AI models now want to collect more data than ever because it helps them to create a better model itself to then sell, to then monetize all the different things that they have in the works for how they're actually going to make money off of AI. So like, that's like the more concerning one, and that's the one where just like general personal privacy is really important. But I don't know if we want to dive in too deeply on that. I think like on the other side, like you mentioned, there's some really good use cases for AI for the sovereign individual. And thankfully there's some good ways to do that right now, but a lot of like the best ways to use AI sovereignly are still really tricky. So like to jump straight to self-hosting AI, like this is something I played around with a reasonable amount. Unfortunately, right now, to get like a really good user experience self-hosting AI, you need some pretty high-end hardware. You can do it on like your laptop or regular desktop or something, but you gotta prepare yourself for it to be very slow in response, for it to be very slow in the reasoning or thinking stage, depending on the model you're using, and or the results to be not quite as good because you're having to use like a quantized smaller model to be able to fit within the amount of RAM that you have. And that's the main pain point right now on the self-hosting side, is like the AI models themselves are well ahead of where consumer hardware is at the moment. So self-hosting is possible, but tricky to get in like a I actually want to use this stage. It's definitely something that's growing very rapidly, and like someone shared in our Telegram chat before we jumped in a new AI model from Google that's built to run on your phone, like on device. To try that out more and like see how functional that is, because run on is very different from usable. A lot of these things people say, oh, you can run this on your laptop, or you can run this on a
you can,
or you can run this here. And it's like, yes, technically it does run, but I also don't want to wait 10 minutes for an answer to a simple question. There's definitely a spectrum there. So that self-hosting side, I think, is going to be the most interesting and the most useful from a self-sovereign perspective. But that one still has a long ways to go for like the average person to be able to host it.
Yeah. But it would be, be nice to have. I know there's like a middle ground where there's services where you can pay with either Bitcoin or Monero, and you like pay per query or whatever you'd call it. And they're supposed to have sort of models that they have access to, and then they pipe it all into one place. Is kind of how I understand it. But from my experience of using these, at least for like image generation and things like that, it's been nowhere near, like I use Midjourney, and nothing else I've tried comes anywhere close to producing the type of images that I want. And like part of that might be just because I've got used to leaning on that system, but there does seem to be a massive gap. Whereas I think maybe for like helping writing emails and articles and stuff like that, maybe it's slightly different. Maybe you can sort of have something like that run locally and it's slightly less painful. I guess it kind of depends what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, the simpler the use case, the better that's going to be for self-hosting, because you're going to need a lot less complex things. Like simple writing help is something that you could probably do relatively easily with a lightweight model self-hosted. But I think that is where like the things like Maple AI, the things like Venice AI is another one that offers more privacy preserving, but you're not self-hosting it, services. Those are like, I think they fit the usage of the vast majority of people. Like, I don't do any image generation, so I know that I have a different use case than you, but I have had good success with those types of services. Right now I'm using Kagi's AI, where I am uploading it to them, but they don't know anything about me. I use VPN all the time. They destroy chats after a day by default. There's some good basic privacy practices involved, but I think the hard thing right now is that most of the like quote-unquote privacy preserving AI solutions are really just like the VPN trust model, where it's basically just a commitment not to log. But they're passing all of your queries to a third party who doesn't necessarily share that commitment. Theoretically, they're doing things like making sure that they're not connected back to the same entity, and like they're doing some anonymization of that. But they are shipping, essentially just proxying your chats and your queries, your prompts to a third party, and so they kind of act as an AI VPN of sorts for you, which is a fine model for most use cases, but there's no guarantee of privacy. There's a promise of privacy, which is reasonable, but I think understandably many people are not happy with that set of compromises, and that's where something like Maple AI is really, really cool. The team behind it are fantastic. They've been Bitcoiners for years. Really good guys focused on personal privacy, and like their bigger project is more privacy preserving data compute, like generally. They have like a really broad set of ambitions for what they want to do. But the first product that they launched out of that is Maple AI, which actually uses like cryptographic proof that you are chatting in a privacy preserving way with an AI model, where the actual chats and responses, etc., are done within like secure compute enclave, like really good cryptographic approaches to making sure that you are actually getting privacy. There is still a trust assumption that basically NVIDIA's private compute approach is sound and not backdoored, which is a trust assumption, but they have billions of dollars riding on that trust assumption holding, so they have good incentive to do that. But that I think is like the best model there. And I'll be honest, they're like Maple is quite limited compared to something like Venice, where you have tons of models and you have a lot more functionality, or something like Coggy. But they are rapidly adding features, and I really like that they're actually doing things with privacy at the core of what they do, not just as a promise, but actually as like a cryptographic guarantee.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that kind of covers as much as we need to get into this one. Maybe it's something we cover a little bit more on the next episode, but because we're so behind, I think we should jump into these questions, because we have so many questions. It was incredible, the response we got, and then we also have the next prize giveaway to go through as well. So what do you reckon? Should we do that, and then if we have any time at the end, we can jump into our other topics?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think let's skip it for right now.
Okay. So questions from SX6. Why is FOSS important for freedom? Do non-free licenses restrict freedom? My own stance has always been that MIT and GPL v3 are the only licenses that count. I'm seeing more frequently use of licenses that restrict commercial use or enforce other restrictions. That's from sx6.store. Check them out for your seed plates. I think they've got the cheapest and best ones I've ever come across. So yeah, shout out to them.
This is a good one. This is one that I have thought and written and battled on Twitter, or X, formerly known as Twitter. Sorry, Elon.
He's listening.
I've like done a lot of thinking about, because this is a hot topic in the Bitcoin space specifically, in the broader open source space as well. But I feel like in Bitcoin, there's like a lot of other incentives that come into play that cause people to make licensing choices that sometimes are good, sometimes are bad. So, I mean, I definitely, it all comes down to specifically what you need out of something. I absolutely always would recommend that whenever you're using the MIT or GPL v3, whenever possible, because the main protection there is that it means that you are going to be able to do whatever you want with that code or that software down the line, no matter what, and that other people can build on top of those things effectively in the future as well. So if that company, that product goes under, that is something that you'll always have access to. But I think the specific requirements of like what license you need, or does it have to be a truly free and open source license, depend on specifically what you're talking about. Like when it comes to like a Bitcoin hardware wallet or something, I think the software, especially being actually free and open source, not just source viewable, is really, really vital, because it means that there's going to be good incentives for other people to build on top of that software, to do more code review, to do more just kind of as they go audits, because they can actually build and publish the thing that they want out of that. They don't have these like onerous restrictions on them. So that's where I think like it's absolutely vital. When you get to like a software wallet, I think the same thing stands. I think when you're dealing with money, like you really need the license itself to be free and open source, not just source viewable, so that you can ensure that there's not going to be restrictions down the line, and that other people are building on top of that software to bring better security along the line as well. There are some other licenses specifically for like libraries and stuff that can be fine, that are different than MIT or GPL v3, but generally those are going to be the best. The two kind of quick caveats I'll say is, in some communities there's this like hardcore love for MIT over GPL v3 or anything else, because MIT basically says do whatever you want. That's pretty much it. It's a very, very, very loose license, which is good in the sense of it ensures that there's no real restrictions at all on its usage. But I think something like MIT works much better when you're talking about a protocol that you want people to build other things around. Something like Bitcoin, the protocol, not the actual token, but the protocol. Something like Monero, the actual protocol, not the cryptocurrency, but the actual like software that creates the protocol. Because you want the least possible restrictions on a protocol itself. You want people to be able to build around that freely and have no restrictions at all. But when it comes to actual like software that an end user will run, I actually much prefer GPL v3. This is what's called a copyleft license. Now we'll get too in the weeds here. I'm probably already too in the weeds here.
That's all right. It's good.
Yeah, just real quick, GPL v3 is my preference for something like Cake Wallet, like Envoy from Foundation. I would prefer that they be GPL v3 for the sole reason that essentially GPL v3 gives you, the end user, the ability to do whatever you want. There's no restrictions on how you use the software, how you publish the software, anything like that. But basically, the main difference between GPL v3 and MIT is that GPL v3 says that if you're going to build and sell a product on us, that product also has to be open source. Whereas with MIT, I could build, let's say, a closed source version of Envoy by Foundation, and I could ship it. If it was MIT, I could ship it and charge for it and not publish the source code at all. So the changes that I make wouldn't be available to Foundation or anyone else who wanted to incorporate those changes. Whereas if it's GPL v3, which like Envoy is specifically, if I as a business wanted to create a product built around that, I have to open source that code in order to legally use source code.
Okay.
And that's a very good protection to me, and that's my personal preference for things that a user will actually use. But for protocols, stuff like Bitcoin, Monero, that sort of thing, MIT is definitely my preference.
Yeah, makes sense. I hope that answers your question, SX6. Rotten Will asks, given Ashigaru has effectively brought Whirlpool ZeroLink CoinJoin back to the plate, do any of you think someone else or Ashigaru themselves will bring back Samurai's XMR to BTC atomic swap implementation as well for doxic change and bad banks? Could you... It doesn't have to be within Ashigaru, does it? Like, there are other services where you could do that. So presumably, it's not like you can't do it now. It just means that you can't do it within Ashigaru now.
Yeah, this is one of those things where I don't think it's at all necessary for it to be like the Samurai Wallet atomic swap implementation was fine, but you could implement, like, let's say Ashigaru wanted to implement this, they could implement this using something that already exists. Unstoppable Swap is the primary example of that. They're just about to rebrand to Eigen Wallet. I think that's how you pronounce it. So depending on when you listen to this, it may be called Unstoppable Swap or it may be called Eigen Wallet, but there's already an existing, like, broadly used atomic swap protocol and set of wallets and libraries and everything that's out there. So it's not like this is something that has to be within a wallet like that. The nice thing is these tools are generally usable with whatever Bitcoin wallet you want on the Bitcoin side. So you can use Unstoppable Swap when you need to swap between Bitcoin and Monero, but use Ashigaru on the Bitcoin side and use something like Cake Wallet on the Monero side, and not be locked into one specific wallet. But that doesn't mean that, like, if someone like Ashigaru or someone like Cake Wallet wanted to implement atomic swaps in the app, like, obviously there's some user experience benefits of that, and that it can be all in one place. The main problem is that atomic swaps are really hard to do from a user-friendly perspective, especially on mobile, because you have to be online the entire time. You've got to wait for confirmations on both the Bitcoin and Monero chains. There's a lot of complications that come into play there. I personally would prefer to do atomic swaps on the desktop, no matter what. But it is something that, like, could come back to Ashigaru. But it already exists. Unstoppable Swap is great. Last time I saw, they had like 7 Bitcoin in open offers, so quite a bit of liquidity, at least for a peasant like me. Maybe a wealthier person out there is swapping more than 7 Bitcoin at a time to Monero.
That's a decent amount.
But yeah, I don't have that privilege yet.
Shout out quickly to Diesel Dad. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, you're right. We're piping Seth through my speakers into my mic, and I had it low because I thought it would be giving more reverb, but I've now turned it up and you've said better, so hopefully the audio is better for everyone. And I promise next week when the robot's back, this is all going to be much slicker. Okay, yeah, I think that sort of covers that one. Rotten Will again. When Monero Q&A. Come on, mate, keep up. We've already got Monero Monthly. That's basically a Monero Q&A.
No. This is for Bitcoin Q&A to answer. I think we got to save this one for next week. It's when is he going to convert over?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I don't think he will. I think he's very much cemented in being Bitcoin Q&A. I think. Well, we'll see. We'll keep chipping away at him, but I think he's happy where he is.
I've been working on him for years. maybe one day he'll be the flows right off the tongue Bitcoin plus Monero Q&A.
Let's see.
And we'll get in with both, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, we're the resident Monero shills, as we get called. So I don't know. Maybe that'll just stay that way. We'll see. Satoshi Tree, is Bitcoin fully captured? Never to upgrade and become a privacy coin. I've seen Seth reconsider his stance on Spycorn. It's hijacked, ain't it? Inability to add covenants proves this to me personally. Would love to hear the panel's take. I don't know. I think that's a bit. My personal view is that's maybe a bit far. Like, I view Bitcoin as like. It depends how you use it. You can be private and do things well. It's just you have to be a lot more careful. It's not that you can't, and so it's down to the individual, where you have to be much more of a mong to fuck up sending privately on Monero. That's kind of my stance on it. What about you?
Yeah, it's, I don't know, I'm always going back and forth on this. Like, I think the important thing to keep in mind is that Bitcoin is still incredibly useful as long as you can take self-custody and no one can prevent that.
Yeah. As
long as you can buy and sell it without KYC and no one can prevent that. And as long as there is some ability to gain quote-unquote good enough privacy on layer one. I think as long as those things hold, Bitcoin remains a useful tool. Like, no matter how SuitCoin gets, how many companies launch treasuries built on Bitcoin, like, as long as the core fundamental sovereign usage and access remains, it's still an incredibly useful tool. And one of the main reasons why I decided that I wanted to make sure that I was working on both Bitcoin and Monero long term was that I see Bitcoin's use not going anywhere. Now, that doesn't mean we don't need to fight for it to become more useful, especially from a privacy perspective. Covenants are a huge part of that I would love to see and continuing to fight for within Bitcoin. But I think it's just something we have to be constantly assessing. If something changes, let's say Bitcoin centralization or Bitcoin mining centralization gets really bad and miners start censoring transactions that don't comply with specific requirements, like, then yes, we're talking about something that is technically hijacked and can't be used in the same way by the sovereign Bitcoiner. But right now, that's not true. And right now, it is still an immensely useful tool. And like I talk about in many places, if, let's say, you love Monero, Bitcoin is a fantastic symbiotic tool with Monero, especially when it comes to actually acquiring Monero. Because if you can get Bitcoin, especially on KYC, you can get Monero, and that bridge is absolutely unstoppable, like we just talked about. So I think it's something where we have to continue to keep evaluating, obviously keep pushing for improvements and changes.
Yeah.
Love seeing Ashigaro bring back Whirlpool, as that's going to be a vital piece of things.
Yeah.
As we kind of keep an eye on that. But it's not captured, hijacked, like all these
it's hyperbolic
terms.
Yeah.
Are not. Yeah, they're not helpful in like just generally throwing them out there, but we need to keep asking ourselves, is this actually true? What would it take for that to become true? How do we fight that?
Yeah. Hunda Husen, I think, is Passport Prime shipping to the EU simultaneously to the US? I believe so. Q isn't with us today, but I'm pretty sure yes. And if I'm wrong, he'll correct me and I'll let everyone know. But I'm pretty sure it's simultaneous. Unless you know, Seth.
I also don't have a 100% answer. My understanding is, like, I know that they got a European distributor basically set up already. so that they can distribute directly from the EU, and that was partially done to get that set up ahead of Prime. Like that was already in progress before I jumped over to Cake Wallet. So I'm assuming that that's still holding and that they will be shipping simultaneously. But like you said, Q&A is the expert there, so we can definitely double check with him.
Okay. Vibrant Subtlety. If all charges against Samurai and T-Dev was dropped tomorrow, what's the first question you would ask them? Freedom Tech Friday. Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't ask them anything. I'd leave them alone. They've had enough stress. If anything, I'd say, do you want a cup of tea, mate? Or just like, do you want a drink? That'd probably be my question. What about you?
You wouldn't immediately
attack
them with questions about when they're going to join your
No.
That was what we did as podcasters. We just assault anyone who's set free to force them to come on our podcast immediately.
I think if you're a professional cunt, that's what you would do. But that's not how I like to operate. Yeah, at most I would say, would you like a drink, mate? And that's it. But I think people who have gone through that level of stress, I think I've had some near misses and problems in my life, but not to that level. And I don't think anybody who isn't personally dealing with it or hasn't dealt with it has any fucking idea how stressful this type of situation can be for you and your family and everyone around you. So I would say whenever someone's released and anything like that, just fucking leave them alone. Let them live their life. They need to recover. That's my answer.
Yeah, actually, I have a really funny story about that I haven't shared publicly. But when I was in Vegas for Bitcoin Vegas, I went downstairs to work out one of the mornings before the conference. I was in the workout room, looked over to my right, and lo and behold, Ross Ulbricht.
Oh, really?
Next to me, working out, which was like not only the most surreal and cool thing ever,
yeah,
but it was also a fantastic test of how hardcore of a podcaster am I.
Yes.
Because I was like, it was like Galadriel and Lord of the Rings kind of style test. Oh. Like he was right there, and I could have taken it and harassed him about coming on.
You could have.
Or Ungovernable Misfits, but I had the same thought you had of like, that dude just needs some peace of mind.
Oh my God,
the fact that he can just go downstairs out of his hotel room and work out just like I can.
Yeah.
His wife was there. They were working out together. Like that,
awesome. That
was one of the coolest. Like for me, that was like the confirmation of like he's actually free. Like this is absolutely so wild. And I can't imagine from him, like from his perspective, what that's like to just wake up, go downstairs and work out in the hotel weight room. Like that was just awesome to see. And it was just kind of that reinforcing moment of like, these guys, you just gotta leave them alone. Like those little things must be so satisfying for them and so like life-giving. It was really cool to see that.
That's amazing.
It also was a good test, and I could pass the test.
Yeah,
I was surprised.
Well done. I'm proud of you. I knew you would. I knew you'd leave him alone and let him get on with his workout. It's gross.
I thought about tying the door shut with a towel, not letting him leave until he did the podcast on the spot. But
yeah. Shout out to Ross and shout out to his mum. Years ago when we did a load of giveaways and we're raising money for Free Ross, we did like a load of clothing and stuff, and she wrote me a really sweet Twitter message just like thanking Ungovernable Misfits, and it was like really nice and personal thing. And I know like through the years she'd put so much effort into getting her boy back, and she just sounds like an incredible woman. So shout out to you as well, Ross's mum. What else have we got here? We've got what are the Crash Neon? What are the options for someone to acquire a real dojo? A real deal dojo? I don't know what that means, to acquire a real deal dojo.
Like an actual dojo for training samurai?
I don't know. Is
or
the
like
answer
a dojo, like the actual dojo node hardware?
Yeah, well, the dojo node.
You be able to order.
Oh, like the Ronin dojo, like the Tanto or whatever.
I assume that's what he's asking. Yeah.
Well, they don't make those anymore. They don't make them anymore. I think probably there's a load of people who would like did a load of cool 3D printing ones of like actual little dojo buildings and stuff like that were quite cool. I don't know. Maybe someone from the dojo crew can jump in and let us know, but I don't think so is the answer if that's the question. Jimmy Spedden with 0.01 XMR, he asked, you can add virtual cards to Curve Pay and use contactless on Graphene OS. Check the Graphene forum, #FreeSamurai. Oh, maybe that's because we were talking about that the other day, whether you needed Apple Pay or... and I think we said you couldn't use it on Graphene OS. Obviously not Apple Pay, but Google Pay.
Yeah, this is something that I thought I remembered not being an option for me. I don't know if it was maybe just not a US thing.
Oh, okay.
They also haven't posted anything on their social media in literally a year.
Oh.
Which doesn't
fill you with confidence. Yeah.
Vibes. Yeah. I mean, maybe that's... I don't know. Maybe something else happened. But I thought this was an EU-only thing, but I very much may be misspeaking. I just remember looking into this when it was first mentioned like a year ago-ish, and it not being an option for me. But it's definitely something I'll have to look into more, so thanks for the prompt, Jimmy. To check on that again.
Right, and last question from Fenir Loki-son. Is Seth related to Keith Knight from the Libertarian Institute? They look and sound the same. Also, if you put them together in a room, would they switch to speaking in Binart or Vendic? I have no idea what that is.
Literally no clue what those things are.
I don't.
Maybe tells you that I'm not related to Keith Knight, or maybe I'm just really good at hiding it. I don't know.
I still haven't Googled what he looks like, but I can't imagine you guys look the same.
He's white.
He
has hair.
Okay.
And he has a beard.
Okay.
If that's how you define Seth for privacy, then yeah, he's basically
me.
He does wear like a fancy shirt and tie though, so I can never bring myself to that. So that's how you know that we're not related.
Do you never do that?
Once and about hung myself with the tie. So.
Oh really?
No,
I did.
No.
I did years of it, proper suited and booted for years, and it was horrendous.
I cannot stand that. I would never be on a podcast wearing a tie.
No.
If I'm ever on here's my cry for help.
Yeah.
I know that someone's gotten me if I ever join a podcast and I have a full button-up shirt and tie on. That's your signal. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
I need help urgently. Yeah.
It's subtle as well.
I guess if I tell you my signal publicly, it's probably not the best signal, but
that's true.
Maybe I'm playing like 5D chess here. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the same here. I'm recording in my boxers again, but no one knows that because no one can see me. So that's how I roll. It's not even hoodies for me; it's boxers.
It's a bold move.
Yeah.
I won't comment on what I'm wearing right now, but it's definitely not.
It's not boxers.
I can leave that. It's definitely also not just a tie. So
okay.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all the questions. So thank you everyone who asked all the questions. If we missed any, I'm really sorry, and they'll be in the next episode. Congratulations again to Superfat Arrow for winning the Passport Prime, and thank you again to Foundation for supplying that as a prize. We really appreciate it. This week we are giving away some free Samurai clothing. So Ungovernable Misfits has now made a free Samurai hat, hoodie and t-shirt. Pretty awesome if I do say so myself. You can check it out on the Ungovernable Misfits store, but we're going to be giving them away, and we've run a competition. The question was, can you please tell us your three favourite Freedom Tech or Freedom tools and why? And so we had actually quite a lot of messages come through. I didn't manage to add them in a normal and clever way, so I have to now scroll through our Telegram to see. Should we read through them, or should we just do like the top three and pick a winner, because we are approaching time? Should we try and get through them all?
Yeah, let's see if we can read through them quickly.
Come on, dyslexia, let's read. All right. Mr. Crown asks, or Mr. Crown says, torrent downloads, Genesis USB archive with books, scientific papers, and samizdat. What's a samizdat?
That's a great question that I don't know.
Okay.
I'll Google that while you speed read the rest of it.
Okay, and Noster. Thought Crime Boss says Monero, because freedom won't exist without private fungible digital cash. Mulvad, because I don't want every website knowing my location, plus they take XMR payments. And Signal, because I need private messaging and I don't see my family using Simplex anytime soon. That's a good one. That's very clean and clear, isn't it?
Honestly, I love this one because it's also very practical for pretty much anyone.
Yeah.
Like using Monero, Mulvad, and Signal is actually really straightforward.
Yeah.
So I really like that one because of that.
Yeah, I like that. Katie from Plan B Passports, she says a gun, a second passport, and a hardware wallet. And obviously she means a passport when she says that as well. I like that as well because all the tech stuff is good, but in a crisis situation, a gun and a passport are pretty fucking useful.
Yeah, I feel like those are when you can get them. Like, second passport can be a lot more difficult for certain jurisdictions, but
yes,
those are some really good, like, shit hits the fan, you have more protection than just, like, a Bitcoin wallet can give you. Like, I think that's one of the things that gets forgotten sometimes in the Bitcoin space is, like, just having sats stacked does not guarantee you anything in a lot of specific scenarios. Specifically, like, really bad scenarios, those sats aren't going to help you at all until you get somewhere safe where you can actually use them for goods and services. So
agreed.
Yeah,
a gun and a second passport's useful. I've been working hard on second passports and third passports and all this kind of stuff recently, and getting the fuck out the EU and all the rest of it. So I'm going through it, and it's not the easiest thing in the world, but I would say well worth doing if you can. John just sends a picture of like some sort of 50 caliber massive gun, landmines, and then one of those, like, I don't know what you call them, but like the suits that makes you look like foliage. A ghillie suit. Mm-hmm. That's it. Yeah. Very good, John. Very good. Like, he's someone you don't want to fuck with in a crisis situation. You want to leave that guy alone. He's going to come through. Don't go.
That's what I'm learning.
Yeah. Don't go anywhere near that man's house. It's just not a good idea, unless you're invited. Apparently, they make very good pasta. Atori, graphene, Monero, and Tor. Very nice. Monero, 3D printer for making untraceable weapons and tools, Monero for payments, and a Raspberry Pi as a digital Swiss Army knife. I like that. I don't like the Raspberry Pis. They are shit, but I'd say a laptop is a better shout, but I like the rest of it. BTC Wrestler, many good options have already been said, but I'll try to be original. Firearm, physical protection. Can you be free if you can't protect yourself from physical harm? Mulvad VPN, services that accepts BTC and XMR. And Zeus, Swiss Army knife of Bitcoin wallets and a great way to interact with your Bitcoin and Lightning node. Just to emphasize, it's a screenshot. I'm clicking see more, but it's a screenshot, so I can't do it. Whatever he said is
clicking in the background.
Yeah, it's definitely good. Whatever he said though. Yupa Hoddle, hashtag Freedom Tech Friday. Meshtastic, ungovernable communication. Rifle, ungovernable meat harvest and protection. And solar array with storage, ungovernable energy. Very good.
I like this.
Get Safe Box, a well for water, a garden for veggies, a chicken for eggs. I can't pronounce this.
Yeah, I want to see this. I want to hear this pronunciation. Let's see it.
Neixendoig Cockools. I have fucking no idea.
It was beautiful. I think that was perfect, honestly.
Really?
I couldn't have done it better myself.
Thank you. To pick 3 tools and potentially scalable builds if a proper script is made. Reason: everyone at this point needs to use an operating system that won't betray anybody, and the GNU Linux operating something. Again, I'm sure that's a really good message. People can go and check it out. It's on Noster. Read the rest of it. But yeah, I can't because it's a screenshot and I'm retarded and we're short on time. But thank you for your suggestions. Chad Farrow: Foundation Passport for my Sats, Cake Wallet for my Monero, my Nimbox for host stuff in the cloud. Chad Farrow, you're doing my ad reads for me. That's my 3 sponsors there, mate. Either I'm so influential to you that you've just gone, yep, whatever he says, I'm just going to choose them, or you're the best shill ever, and I'll send you a percentage. Thank you, mate. What's he saying? He's saying something in the comment. Oh, trolling, not an ad lol, trolling. Love it. Then we've got...
I think we might skip the rest and jump straight to the winners.
I think
Just
so.
make sure we get them out before we get hard cut off here.
Yeah, we do have a hard cut off. Can't believe how much reading I'm doing. I'm doing quite well as well. Maybe the pressure's doing me well. Right. From Ghost. And I think, for me, this has to be the winner. Just the amount of effort that's gone into this is incredible. The amount of detail, and although I would say it's not the most user-friendly for everyone, I think there are some good points made here. So I think for this episode, the winner is Ghost. And Ghost says, challenge accepted. No fluff, no distractions, no corporate strings. Each of these freedom tools exists outside the surveillance economy. They aren't just privacy preserving, they are sovereignty tools. Number 1, Tails OS. Live, amnesic, anonymous, boots from USB, leaves no trace. Why? Because when shit hits the fan, you need something that doesn't remember. Tails turns any computer into a temporary safe house. Built-in Tor, no logs, no disk writes unless you say so. Ideal for whistleblowers, journalists, or anyone who wants to vanish. Now all hanging on your keyring. Access hostile networks without touching internal drives. Publish sensitive material. Create disposable sessions that can't be traced. Hashtag use case, crisis mode, Dropbox pickups, burner sessions. Very detailed. I think that's a great shout. Tails OS is not something I've really played around with much, but pretty incredible tool.
Yeah, it's one of those things you should just try, get comfortable with, and keep around, just in case. It's not one of those things like most people should use every day or even often at all, but just something that you need to have in your toolkit for sure.
Yeah. Simplex chat, no phone numbers, no metadata, no central servers. Why? Because Signal still requires a phone number, and most private messages are tied to identity or metadata in some way. With Simplex, no fixed IDs, messages routed over random relays, no way to link sender and recipient. You share temporary invite, not a static handle. We're going to run out of time, so I'll leave that one there. I think that's good. Simplex is a bit glitchy for me, but I get the point, and in theory it is very good, but I just find not that many people want to use it, and it is a bit glitchy for me, so I lean on Signal harder, but I agree, I think. Seth, any comment on that?
No, I mean the same. I think it's one of those things like you have to have around, but I too don't think it's quite there. I'm still a Signal maxi once they added usernames and removed the requirement for showing your phone number to others. Okay, and KeyPass XC offline only, local password manager with zero cloud sync, built for power users. Why? Because password reuse is digital suicide, and cloud-based password managers are
centralized honeypots. KeyPass XC keeps secrets local, lets you sync manually over trusted channels like encrypted USB or synthing, manage multiple aliases and logins, store crypto seed phrases, use case, alias control, OPSEC vault, no cloud credentials stored. Whew, okay, makes sense. I feel quite happy with my password manager at the moment, but any comments there, mate?
It's pretty much in the same boat for me. I think it's too hardcore for most people, but it's a good option to try. For me, password managers and encryption and open source is enough. It doesn't have to be offline only.
Okay.
But it is a great option for sure in open source.
Okay. Well, congratulations to Ghost. I really appreciate the amount of effort that you've gone into there, and definitely for the more hardcore users, people who take this stuff really seriously. These are all great tools by the sounds of it. Well worth reading that whole thing. I think that one was on Twitter. But yeah, congratulations to you. If you just reach out to me by any of the channels, I'll make sure you get looked after. Make sure you get a hashtag Free Samurai hat, hoodie and t-shirt, and we'll also be donating the normal amount for each of those products to Free Samurai. There were also a couple of other good ones there. Shall I just be really generous and just give something else away? What do you reckon?
Sure.
Just.
I don't know if we're still live. So we are after the top of the hour.
We're still live. I did it to 10:30, so we'll do one extra minute.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
I will say Thought Crime Boss, you get a free samurai hat. I liked yours. And Katie from Plan B Passports, you get a free hat on the condition you use your platform, wear the hat, and tweet it with hashtag Free Samurai, just to get some attention on that, and hopefully more people support them. So if you agree to that, Katie, you get one as well. Does that sound fair?
I like it.
Okay, all right.
Generous Max. Santa Claus.
So everyone...
Throwing hats. You get a hat. You get a hat.
You get a hat. You get a hat. And Samurai gets some extra sats with each of those as well. So, all right. Well, it definitely didn't go off without a glitch, but we did a pretty okay job there, considering. So thank you to Seth for sticking with me for the first 15 minutes of that just painful time. And we will catch you on the next one. Any last final closing words?
No, I don't think so. I think you nailed it. We'll have things fine-tuned a little bit more next week.
Yeah.
We'll have the robot back.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. Get some questions in. That'd be the main thing. Just
Definitely.
between now and then, drop questions. We'd love to answer all of them. It's my favorite part of this. So
yeah.
We'll see you all next Friday.
Yeah, and we'll run another prize giveaway as well. I'll work out what we're going to give away this time, but yeah, we'll keep doing these. So thanks, everyone.
We pull the plug in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay ungovernable.